Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do some tests with my new gouache. I want to do some color mixing tests in the hopes of creating a gouache palette. I want to paint some winter landscapes and I thought it would be fun to do it with gouache, a new medium for me. So here are all the gouaches that I got. Here we have our primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. And then I've just got some blues a bit randomly because I wanted to have a good range. Turns out I feel like I have four pretty similar colors, these three and this one. That's why I want to try some color mixing, because I wonder what they will look like once they're mixed, maybe with a little bit of the primaries and with some white. I have a primary white and a zinc white, and I want to do some mixes with the both of them just to see what the differences between the two are. So I think we're gonna start with that. We're gonna work in my Strathmore visual journal. This is the journal that I use to do some mixes and take some notes. So we're just gonna get a nice page. So I have these palettes, you know these ones? They come with this insert. So I ended up removing the insert, and in the end, I'm able to put 12 full pans in there. I wanna mix colors that are a bit more unique so they don't all look the same. Not like the colors that I showed you. First, I want to try my different whites. Zinc white from Winsor Newton. And I have the permanent white, which would be the titanium white from Holbein. What I want to do is do the same mix, but with these two different whites, just to see what the differences are. So what I heard is that the mixes with the permanent white are a bit more opaque than the zinc white. The color you would get with your mixes could be a little bit more muted, a little bit more dull, compared to the mixes with the zinc white, which is a more transparent white. With that, you would get colors that are a bit more vibrant. According to what I read, I've never tested out this theory, so this is what we're gonna do today. So let's create a little mix. Oh, this is a beautiful color. See how pretty that is? Let me just add a bit more water. Now let's do the same thing, but with our zinc white. I can't guarantee that I put the exact same amount of green in there in the mix. Maybe we see this color a bit more intensely because there's more green, or maybe because it's the zinc white, or maybe because of the two things combined. I think that we can trust a theory that says that the mixes with the zinc white would be a bit more vibrant, which I think is what I want to go for. Okay, let me show you what I ended up doing. In order to have a better idea of how many colors I could mix, I needed to know how many spots I had left in my palette. So I drew a drawing of my palette with 12 spots, and I wrote down the names of each color that I wanted to include. So I had my two whites, I had my primary yellow and red. I did not plan on adding my primary blue, and then I had a few blues, and it left me with 3 spots. So I wanted a lilac, a light blue green, and something else. After thinking about it for a while, I thought that 3 spots isn't a lot. I really wanted to mix more colors. I wanted to play around with color mixing, and yeah, I thought 3 is not a lot. What if I mix 5 nice colors or more? The goal of this palette was to have fun with color mixing. So I drew another drawing. I decided, what if instead of putting my primary colors in my palette, I just bring them with me on the side. So that left me with 5 spots. So 1 for my lilac, 1 for my light blue green, and then 3 more spots that I could fill with whatever color I ended up liking after my color mixing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take each blue, I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of red, and then to that mix, I'm gonna add some white. Then I'm gonna take the blue, I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of yellow. To the mix, I'm gonna add some white. And then I'm gonna do a play with red and yellows. And we'll go with each color and explore like that. So I think for now, we're gonna start with the primary blue. I'm gonna mix it with my zinc white. A little bit of that primary blue here. Here. And some yellow, which I will try to keep as clean as I can. So primary yellow is here. Let's add just a little bit of red. We get this beautiful raisin color. Oh, it's very nice. And then let's add a touch of white. Oh, it's so nice. Ooh, beautiful. I think I'm already getting close to my lilac, but we'll see what color gives us the best lilac. What if I add just a little bit of yellow to that lilac? Oh, now we muddied our color. A mix of the primary blue plus a touch of yellow. Such a pretty green. Wow. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of white. Oh, that's pretty. I love this color. Then if I add a touch of red, we've muddied this color again. Let's try with our cerulean blue with some red. Beautiful color. And then if I add a little bit of white, this might be a little bit too warm compared to this one. I think I'm looking more for a colder lilac. Good to know. And then if I add a little bit of yellow, it's not that bad. It's not that pretty either. Now let me do the cerulean blue mixed with some yellow. Oh, that's a beautiful green. I like that. Then with some white. Love that color. So far I like this pale green better than this first one. And then with a touch of red. Oh, I might have added a little bit too much red. That's okay. Then I'm gonna try the ultramarine blue. I can't wait to see the mixes with this one because I'm sure they're gonna be so vibrant. Now let's add some red. Now some white. Wow, oh, I love it. So beautiful. Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. And then let's muddy it up by adding just a touch of yellow. Now we're gonna do the same. Let's add some yellow. I like it. So far it's my favorite green. I like my greens to be yellowish. Oh, that's beautiful. So you saw I decided to zoom you out a little bit just so you can see me mixing. Now I want to add some white to create my pale green. Oh, maybe I added too much though. I don't know. Oh no, oh, I like that. I really like this color. Yeah, I think I need to add more white to my mixes just because I'm looking for a color that is a bit more pastel, kind of. Okay, not bad, I kind of like it. Now let's try our phthalo blue. Let's add some red in there. That's so pretty. Then we'll add some white. Let's add a bit more than usually. Oh wow, what a beautiful color. I think we might be onto something. I love it. And then let's ruin it by adding some yellow. Yeah, it's ugly now. Well, it depends what you want to do. Could be a good color for something, but it's definitely not a color I'm looking for right now. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing but with our yellow. So I'm gonna add some yellow to my mix here. We get this dark, beautiful green. Looks like a sap green, don't you think? Or a hooker's green. And then let's add a bunch of white. Oh, it's very minty. Beautiful. Yeah, I like it. And then let's ruin it with a touch of red. Okay, I think this color is not that bad. Yeah, it's, in fact, I really like it. Wow, I did not expect this. This is such a fun exercise. I think if you have a bunch of colors that you find yourself using in the same way time and time again, just try this exercise because I think you might rediscover your colors. Next we're gonna try turquoise blue. A little bit of red. Oh wow, this is pretty. Then let's add a bunch of white. Pretty. And a touch of yellow. yeah, we get an interesting green. And let's do the same, but we add the yellow to the blue. Not my type of green that much, but an interesting color nonetheless. And now we're gonna add a lot of white. Another minty color. I like it. Oh, I like it, yeah. Oh, this is very pretty. I just want to show you something else that I did, because I realized that for these three first mixes, I put a lot more red in the color mixes than in these last two. So I decided to redo these mixes with the red and whites. So I did the first mix with the primary blue. So the color is this one with less red and more white compared to here. You see, here I added way more red. So when I added the white, it gave us this kind of purple color, but here it's more, it's similar than what I'm looking for. It's still maybe a bit too blue, but it's interesting at least to see what we can get. Then I redid this mix with the cerulean blue. You see what happened when I added the red and then the white, and I redid it here. So I added a little bit less red and some more white, and I got something that is a bit more interesting. And I like this mix here. I feel like it's granulating and you can see maybe some red peeking through. Very interesting. And then I did the same thing with the ultramarine blue. This is when I added the red and the white. And this is when I added the red again and the white. So you can see how different it got. So I thought that I would need this mix just to make a better decision when it came to mixing my lilac color that I'm looking for. Let's do the same exercise, but with our last two colors. Now we are, oh, this is going to be interesting because the colors are a little bit different. So we're going to do cypress green. Now I'm going to put a little bit of red, not too much. I can always add more if I need. It's beautiful. Okay, and now I'm going to add some white. This is pretty. I think I just want to repeat the exercise, but with more red. Oh, that's nice. And then with the white. So two different options, depending on how much red we put in our mix. Okay, so when I add just a little bit of yellow, we get that beautiful dark green. And if we add some white to that, this is very pretty. And let me just add a little bit more. Here we go. Then we're gonna do our last color, which I think is gonna be very interesting. Indigo is such a pretty color, and I can't wait to see what happens when we mix it. So I'm gonna add some red in there. It looks pretty similar, so I'm gonna add more. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, very beautiful. Some white. Yeah, it's very nice. Even more white maybe? Yeah, wow. Pretty. Then we do the same, but adding some yellow. Oh, we get this dark green. Still, you see, I feel like the indigo is very intense color. You need to add a bit more of the other colors to influence the mix towards a green or a purple than the other mixes. But I like this green, it's so nice. Now I want to add a lot of white to this. It's so nice. And with a lot more white, we get this beautiful, beautiful green. Kind of a neutral. It tends a little bit towards a gray, but it's still a green. I love it. Okay, let's write down everything we did and then we're gonna reconvene. So this is what we did. I don't know if you see, but we can see that there's a lot of binder in this one because it's kind of shiny. Usually gouache is matte. Yeah, it doesn't look normal. So I think that what I'll do is I'm going to fill my pans with the colors I know I want. My colors straight from the tubes. And I'm gonna write the names of the colors on the side of the pans, because I remember when I did my watercolor palette I did not do that, and with time I change my palette sometimes and then I retire some colors. Over time I end up with a bunch of pans in which I'm not exactly sure what colors in there, so I decided I'm not gonna make that mistake again. I'm going to write on the side. In a few days when it's dry, I might top it off with some more because in my experience, watercolors and gouache tend to shrink a little bit when they dry in the pan. Now we're gonna do the ultramarine greeny shade. A bit thicker, but it seems like the texture is pretty even. I'm just gonna help it reach the corners with my little toothpick here. Okay, a slight change of angle is because we're losing the light, so I switched to my winter setup, which is on my table with 2 light sources on each side. So I have done an extra pan for the zinc white. I was debating, do I also put the permanent white in there? I think I would like to have it, but do I just bring the tube? I feel like I would have just too many whites for a limited amount of pans. I'm thinking either I bring it as a tube or I put it in a half pan maybe. Now I would like to try mixing my lilac color, and I would like to find a way to get something like this. This is the Holbein acrylic gouache in pale lavender, and I was looking at the mixes that I did, and I feel like this one with the primary blue, a little bit of red and a lot of white is the closest. I think if I add even more white, I could get there. Maybe I could try with turquoise blue, but with a little bit more red too, just to see what we get. This one with the indigo, no, I don't think it works. So I want to try the turquoise blue and the primary blue and try to get to that purple there. So I'm gonna put cerulean blue here. I'll start with a white base and slowly add some color to it. So let's add some blue and let's mix. A touch of red. I think this needs a bit more blue maybe. Let me just swatch it here just to see. It's not bad. I think I quite like this. What if I put just a dot of blue? I think I like this because I can always put a little bit more blue in there if I want to. Let's try though, just a tiny bit more blue. Or maybe that's too much. Maybe I took it too far, we'll see. I think this is it. Let me just try it with some turquoise blue, see what we get. But I'm pretty satisfied with this one. That is very blue. I made my decision. I'm gonna put this one in my palette because I just like the color better. So let's just try mixing some more of this. Okay, so I put a lot of white in there. Now I'm gonna keep a little bit of this on the side just so I get an idea of the color I'm looking for. So I add a bit of blue, not much. We're gonna go slowly. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of red. Oh, that's strong. That red is so strong. I added just a tiny bit. But it's okay, I can add more blue and more white. So right now it's my first time mixing a color to create a custom color for my palette. I have no idea if it's a good idea or not, but we're gonna go for it and hope for the best. I think we're getting close to the color that I wanted. I finished my mix. I put it in here. It's so cute. Can't wait to use it. Okay, so now that I have finally finished my lavender, I want to create my pale green. And I was looking at the greens that I made, and I really like this one, using turquoise blue with some yellow and white. So I think I'm gonna try to reproduce this one. And we're gonna start mixing. So I'm gonna first add some blue, just a little bit at a time. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow. Just a little to start, see how it changes the color. And then I'm gonna add more. Yeah, I think we need to add a little bit more. Yeah, I think this is perfect. So I'm going to collect this paint and put it in a little pan like this. So what I was doing earlier is I would take my toothpick and just push the paint inside the pan. See, I need to create more because this wasn't enough. But I feel like I like working in smaller batches because it allows me more control. It allows me to create just enough, just a little at a time. I don't want to create too much and then be stuck with a lot of paint that I have no place for. So let's create another batch. It uses a lot of white because the white is the base of my paint, so I have to use a lot. I keep this to the side so I can compare the color I'm creating with the color that's in the pan. When I'm close enough, I'll add this in the pan and I'll mix with my toothpick, just in case the two colors are not exactly the same, which probably they won't be because I don't have an exact recipe. I'll be at least able to merge the two together. I think this is good. So I see the two colors are not exactly the same, but as I said, I'm gonna mix them in the pan. Okay, so I have successfully created the cutest little mint color. Now I get to think about more colors I'd like to mix. I really liked this light blue with only turquoise blue with a little tiny bit of red, tiny bit, and some white. I think having a very light blue like this one would be very valuable to my palette. So I'm gonna create this one. I'm gonna add a little bit more red here because it's pretty much dried up. I could reactivate it, but for the sake of mixing, I would like it to be already ready and well activated. And I'm going to add quite a lot of white again. Okay, so I'm gonna add some blue. And the tiniest amount of red. I'm barely gonna dip. Gonna go very slowly with this because I don't want to add too much red. I do not want to create a purple. I just want to like tone down this blue a slight amount. I think I'm gonna add more white. This blue is beautiful. Let me swatch it. Yeah, I think this would be a great blue to have in my palette. So I'm gonna officially start filling a pan. I'm doing another one using some white, some indigo, and some yellow to create this beautiful kind of more muted green. It's a bit less pale than my other colors. Still uses a lot of white though. Today is the next day. I just want to put some magnet on the bottom of the pans. So I have these magnetic sheets that I bought. So I have a few sheets and they come with scissors. So I'm just gonna cut some strips and stick them on the bottom of the pans. And then we're gonna do some nice swatching. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what my final color mixes are. First, we have our zinc white. Then we have a mix of Holbein turquoise blue with Winsor Newton primary red and Winsor Newton zinc white. Then we have Winsor Newton primary blue with primary red plus zinc white. Here we have Holbein turquoise blue plus Winsor Newton primary yellow plus zinc white. Here we have Winsor Newton indigo plus primary yellow plus zinc white. Here we have Winsor Newton phthalo blue plus primary red plus zinc white. Then on the bottom row, most of them are colors straight from the tube except for one. So here we have Winsor Newton cerulean blue. Here we have Winsor Newton cypress green. Here is Winsor Newton phthalo blue. Here we have our only mix of the row, which is Winsor Newton cerulean blue plus primary red. I decided to mix this color because when I tried it in my swatches, I found that this color was kind of separating, so you could see some blues and some reds, and it was very interesting. I don't know how well you can see, but I see some blue, I see some red peeking through. When you add more water, the color it becomes very interesting, and that cerulean blue looks to me like it's a little bit granulating, which is something that I love in my watercolor. So I was very happy to find this property back in my gouache. Then here we have Winsor Newton ultramarine green shade, and then Winsor Newton indigo. So here we go. Here's the final result. I can't wait to use it. The colors are so pretty. I love them. Look at this. Wow. So when these pans are fully dried, I'll fill them up some more. At least the ones that come from a tube. These ones that I mixed, I think I can't mix them again because the colors won't match. So if they dry up, then that's going to be it for them. But for these ones, except this one, that aren't mixes, I'll be able to fill them up if I need to. Let me know what you think about my project of making myself my own colors, my own gouache colors, my own gouache palette. I've never seen anybody create a gouache palette. Not saying that it was never done before, but it's just that I'm more used to seeing people doing some watercolor palettes. And I thought, why not do it with gouache? Thank you again for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know if I made a terrible mistake or if you have any advice for me for future gouache palette making or whatever. Just leave all of that in the comments below and I will have a look. Otherwise, that's it. I will see you back again here in 2 weeks. Take care. Bye.